I'm Zack Levy, and I was invited today by Intel and AWS to try and give you a flavor of a partner taking customers on a journey and making all this practical. I'm new to Deloitte, so up until 3 months ago, I was a CEO of a small boutique consulting practice, and all we did is helped customers on their AWS journey. So we have real-life experience in helping customers to leverage the AWS cloud to transform the business. I thought that this morning we had a really good, the keynote, I found it really intriguing to hear such powerful words from people like Alistair talking about cybersecurity and the cloud in government in such strong words was really amazing. We all heard the trend, the rapid pace of development, how cloud is maturing and much more widely adopted, how technology is enabling new capabilities, the large amount of data. Jason spoke about the large amount of data that's being generated, that's being consumed, and how expectations are increasing and changing. I used to say in the past, if Facebook is free and is available 24/7 and people are up in arms as if it's not available for 1 minute, then the services that we provide kind of have to meet the same standard. And I think that the theme today that was presented today about 24/7 government just sums it up all beautifully. So those are the trends, and everyone talks about cloud. I mean, cloud has been a buzzword for quite some time, and we all have those benefits that everyone talk about cloud and why cloud is so appealing and why it's so controversial and whether we should go at that pace or that pace. So just a bit of a reminder, why is cloud so appealing? So first, it's about self-service. It's about being able to, anywhere from people that consume IT, to be able to provision for themselves what it is that they need, as opposed to go through procurements and business cases. It's about being on demand and elastic. It's about being available when you need it, being a bottomless pit of resources that you can tap into whenever you want. It's about faster adoption, whether it's within your organization or our customers consuming it. It's about a different model, commercial and financial model. So to try and shift from CapEx to OpEx, it's about leveraging all those benefits to have solutions that are more cost effective. And it's a lot about innovation. Innovation is a word that we all talk about all the time. Now, this is all good and well. However, we all have our own challenges. We have our own goals that we are trying to accomplish. We have our own outcomes that people expect from us, and we have our own targets that we're trying to meet. And I'm going to throw a stab in the dark here, and I assume that some of those are relevant to most of you. We've got budgets that we need to meet. Transformation is a big word. Digital transformation was told several times this morning, and I believe that each and every one of us is going through a digital transformation in one shape or form. Efficiencies. People look at cloud and look at today's environment, and they expect us to do more with less. Performance and resiliency. Alistair spoke about this today. The gentleman from Australia Post and from everyone talks about how resiliency is important. The services are expected to be available. And about service availability and how customers expect the service to be available 24/7. And at the same time, people expect us to adapt to the changing landscape and to be able to change more rapidly. So at the same time, though, there are things that are still important, and we're not supposed to compromise those. Security, absolutely critical. And I think, again, it was top of mind this morning in all the topics at the keynote. Everyone talks about security. Still need to be maintained. Compliance. Alistair was very clear about how compliance is still relevant and still important. At the same time, there is change, and we need to manage that change, not to compromise. So, how do we actually get from A to B? Considering all those trends and everything that we spoke about, how do we get from our reality to realize the potential of cloud? How do we take our challenges and turn them into solutions, leverage the AWS cloud platform to actually solve our problem and relieve us from those pain points? I would say that it's all about the journey. Now, before we talk about the actual journey, how we take you from the potential to the practical, there's a few things that we need to be clear before we start the journey. First of all, what does success mean? Where are we going? Where are we aiming? If we're going on a journey, how do we know that we've been successful? We need to be clear in our mind as what success means and what it looks like. Culture. was mentioned again in the keynote this morning several times again, and how important it is for every transformation to be successful. We need to be cognizant and be aware of our own culture and how it handles changes, and because it will play a clear role in that journey. Sponsorship from the top is absolutely critical. Those of you that play key leadership position, you need to show the leadership and sponsor, be vocal as sponsor about the cloud and realizing the potential of cloud. However, top to bottom alone would not work. We need buy-in from the people on the ground that actually do the work. And if they're not on board, it's unlikely to succeed and do well. Transformation is not something that you can shove down people's throat. General advice that is always good: use the right tool for the right job. Cloud presents enormous opportunities, and the AWS platform is absolutely huge with a lot of tools. Pick the right tool for the right job. And finally, if we talk about a journey, and that's a key part, AWS described them today as superpowers for heroes, which I think is the right analogy. But deliver the right change at the right time, deliver the right capability at the right time. And we found that as a partner that helped customers on the journey, you can deliver the best system in the world that deliver continuous integration and continuous deployment. And it will be considered as a failure if no one uses it. Client is upset with you because they just spent millions and they got a shiny toy that does nothing. We're upset because we did a really good job, but the customer is upset with us. It's all about delivering the right change at the right time. Now, at Deloitte, we feel we can help customers go through that journey. We've helped customers to go through that journey, and I joined Deloitte as to be part of a greater team that can help customers like yourself, like the public sector, to take them on a long journey and a complicated journey. It starts with a view. We have a view that while technologies continue to evolve, opinions and views continue to change, messaging keep on changing. But if the underlying belief in the journey stays the same, you've got better chances of succeeding, because some of those journeys are not 3 weeks or 3 months. Some of them could take as long as 3 years or even longer. Continuous reinvention, innovation, it's the new normal. So cloud is here to stay. Embrace it. Leverage it. Make your business better. Operate and compete better. Cloud present opportunities. Once you embrace cloud, you've got nothing but opportunities. Use those opportunities to transform the business. We talked about teams and how they work. Be more agile, be more efficient, more secure, and more competitive. Capabilities matter. So AWS platform, it is so deep. It is so wide. More than 1,000 services or major features have been released over the last 12 months. There's no way you can get your head around all of them, but pick the right ones for the right job. And once you're on that platform, as new services and new capabilities and new superpowers are being released, you're right there to take advantage of them. Understand and amplify transforming value. So this is very important, especially because of hyperscale cloud platform like AWS. They've enabled us, each and every one of us, to be what we refer to as snowflakes. We're all different. We all take the building blocks and put them together in a way that serves our business best. So we understand that, and it's about understanding who you are, your business, your goal, your people, your ambitions, and then by understanding this, we leverage the power of cloud to deliver what it is that you think is important. So how can we help? So in terms of, it's very important, basic concept. Start with imagine. It's about putting together a plan. You need a plan. And we take pride of putting together a plan that doesn't embed us forever and a day in what you do. We consider success when we turn you into self-sufficient. You're all different. We all bring capabilities internally. Things like cloud platforms allow you to take the headache and give it to someone else. The guy from Geoscience said that we really love the help of others doing things that we don't need to do and put more time into value. So it's about making you self-sufficient and getting to a point where you can focus on more value, but it starts with building a plan. It's the business case. It's the readiness of the people. It's the tools and technology, and putting together an architecture. And once we've got that plan, we can help you be accountable for that plan and help you deliver and execute on that plan. Build, implement, transform, transition from the old into the new. And then we can also help you run. And run is not only managed services or ongoing management, but it's also about getting you to work in a new way, in an agile way, in a DevOps way, where there's no two worlds of development and operations and people throwing packages across the fence to another team and holding them accountable to something that they weren't part of. We can help you reshape the way your business operates internally and how you engage with your customers, so you can actually take feedback and inject it very quickly into the process. So from feedback and from input to something that a customer have at their hand, it's a very rapid process. As part of having the ability to take your start from, and we take alliances very, very seriously, and Amazon is right there at the top. AWS, Deloitte and AWS is a global strategic alliance throughout all Deloitte all over the world. We have about 70 agreements that we sign in all regions, and we invest very heavily in the relationship, from anywhere from our consulting status all the way to dedicated team that understand cloud and everything around cloud. We work together to package solutions together so we can go to market together, and the solution is better for you as a customer because both AWS and Deloitte, and we invest in understanding and being certified in the platform. And then as Deloitte, we also invest in subject matter expertise. So in the last about 18 months, we've completed 6 acquisitions of boutique consulting practices and brought that expertise in-house. And my favorite one is the one over there. It's called Strut. Strut Digital used to be the company that I used to run. And it's been an amazing journey for us. And the reason that it has been is because we're now part of a much bigger family of subject matter experts. And if in the past, I remember I used to get a call from AWS, Zack, do you do analytics? And I used to say, sure, we do the infrastructure that support analytics. Now we do analytics as well. So we've got a cloud advisory practice that can start from the imagine phase and help you with the plan. And then we have distinct practices that work collaboratively. Part of them come through acquisition that specialize in particular area. Anywhere from the architecture all the way to DevOps and automation, which is my area. Automation, we help understand your drafts and make sure that you don't need to do anything more than twice. If you did it once, great. If you did it again, that means that you'll do it again and again and again. And automation is brilliant because it brings 2 things. It takes something that you used to do manually, and it makes the outcome quicker. So if it used to take days or weeks or months, because it's automated, the process is automated, it now can happen in days or even minutes. And in addition to that, it makes the outcome predictable, which helps directly into resiliency and high availability, which directly results in higher customer satisfaction. We have a data center practice. We all know that even if we'll make the decision to go into cloud tomorrow, we can't snap our fingers and everything will just be on AWS. It's a journey, because as part of a transformation and a part of a transition and as part of a migration, I love that analogy. You have to rebuild a plane while you're mid-in-flight. How are you going to do that without taking anything offline? It's by extending your data center footprint into AWS, making the environment seamless across both, and making sure that you do that while customers are not being impacted and services are not impacted. We have a network and security team also. Most of those capabilities came as part of an acquisition that's about software-defined networking, high-speed networking and security. And also we have a workplace practice that looks at things anywhere from end-user computing to mobile devices to IoT. We've got active project at the moment that's about rethinking the way that large public organizations are engaging with their consumers and use devices to speed up and deepen the relationship. And then there's the run practice. And the run practice is not only about managed services, but it's also about enablement. But the exciting bit, it's also being underpinned at the bottom by other areas of Deloitte with subject matter expertise. SAP. We've got an enterprise application team that does SAP, and we work very closely with them to make sure that we can do it well on AWS. One of the most satisfying engagement is we've got a human capital and agile team, because it's all about the people, the journey and the transformation roadmap. The technology will definitely do what it's supposed to do. It's very likely it's been done before. It's the people that will determine the pace of change and how successful it would be. And if people are on board the journey and you take them on the journey and you make it exciting for them and help them solve their problem, the day-to-day problem and make their life easier, they're definitely on board. And there's a human capital team that help us do it. But also cybersecurity and risk management, data security, platform engineering. Again, MuleSoft is one of our biggest partner, and also AWS partner. It's about making the old environment communicate in a contemporary way with new environments by leveraging APIs and integrating them into old systems. Financial cloud management, all the way to strategic sourcing and helping with vendors. And then we can take that and turn that into much deeper, specific, imagine, deliver, run program that it's all about you and how you conduct your organization, what your transformation, how it's going to work for you in the various steps, and how do we do it over time and as we progress, we take feedback and input with what we did well and what we didn't do well and put that back into the transformation process. So now some of those icons, I mean, not a lot of customers, especially in the public sectors, are very happy to provide their name. But those are some of the customers that we, both as Deloitte and Strat Digital, helped in a journey extremely similar to that and solved very complex problem. Anywhere from small startup to large FSIs, organizations that are subject to compliance, high strict of security. Sorry, going back. But for example, one of my favorite stories, the top left corner is a company called InBorder, and it's very likely that none of you have heard of them. They do HR onboarding as a service. They do a SaaS tool. They're a startup. They do a SaaS tool that's all about HR onboarding, but they work with some of the largest organizations in the world. So from 2 servers in AWS, but from 2 servers that running a SaaS tool that they thought it will always be enough, all of a sudden they started engaging large multinationals, government agencies, financial institutions, multinational bank, and all of a sudden their environment and their system needs to meet the standards and the same, both compliance and security standards of the customers that they supply. Overnight, the level of compliance and complexity of their environment climbed up 100-fold. And we helped them not only rebuild their environment and make sure that they meet the most strict standards, but also spread it across multiple regions. And the thing is, Jason talked about the Intel and how intense computing is. Every one of those, most of the customers that they interact with require encryption on the fly. If we would have looked at this probably 2-3 years ago, it was like taking 100 of those bicycles and making them to try and move really quickly. The level of ease that we were able to implement today and make sure that it doesn't impact how snappy the service is was just mind-boggling. We did, I'm conscious of time, but we did anywhere from migrations. Bauer Media is one of the organizations that we've been escorting for 2.5 years and helping them in a long journey of transformation. And I've got a lot more stories. We actually at the AWS stand during lunch, and if you're interested, I invite you to come and have a chat about some of our stories and how we can potentially find something that's applicable more to you. But I want to share one customer journey with you. And I've picked that particular one for several reasons. A, the intensity of the processing that those guys need. Unfortunately, I didn't get permission to talk about them in public just yet. But also, it's very rewarding collaboration between Deloitte, AWS, and Intel. So that particular company, they're an Australian company, but they're leading worldwide in analytics. And what they do is they develop super profile. They get customer-sensitive information from large organizations in Australia and overseas. They analyze how that's being used and they turn it into super profile. So if, for example, if that's applied on a supermarket, if you're 23, live in Sydney eastern suburbs and own a dog, they know what you're going to buy at the supermarket before you do. And as you can appreciate, the challenges for them is they actually process vast amounts of data. And they were very conscious when it comes to security. So the amount of, and they get data every single day. And the amount of data just grows exponentially. So not only it grows, they need to archive it for compliance reasons, and data's just growing. Data's growing, more people are consuming data, they need to process it at the same time. Processing time started extending because they leverage physical hardware. They believe that it can only be secure if it's hosted within their data center environment and they can protect their data, and they kept on hitting the wall and spending a lot of time in moving things around just to free up processing power. In addition to that, the market started evolving, and there was pressure for them to evolve their business model and to be able to respond more quickly with features and capabilities to a degree that their customers didn't want to throw their data their way and get the result. They wanted them to be able to leverage the system as well. And the mere thought of provisioning another copy of that system on their hardware, just wasn't possible. The reality of their world that they lived in, security was an extremely high priority because their customers, it's personally identifiable information. If someone hacks into their database, they've got everything. Align with customer compliance requirement, again, probably the highest standards in Australia. The pressure to transform the manner which is they engage their clients, so no more just hand over data. Hand over the system was inconceivable. Now, the culture of the business was, let's say, compliance-driven. Very risk-adverse. And while we had the people in the top saying, look, guys, we really need to change, the people at the bottom had reasons why security and compliance is actually the reason why we should actually take that slow. So what did we do? We sat together and today with AWS and we said, we're going to develop a proof of concept. And we're going to aim for the sky. So we're going to come up with a small proof of concept. But what we're going to do is we're going to come up with a process where we build the entire infrastructure that's required to process a job that normally takes between 8 and 16 hours. Then we're going to scale it horizontally and automatically as far as we possibly need. So by the time we finish crunching that data job and tearing down the infrastructure, we do all that within less than an hour. Why? Because we don't want to pay more than 1 hour on demand of AWS time. Now, that's a big, big challenge, and we tapped into our friends at Intel who helped us understand how we use the right instances and how we tap the most deeply into the high computing processes and leverage the right instances. And we agree that if we can prove that that is possible, that will actually change the business model and will actually be able to develop a roadmap as to how it will take that proof of concept to market as a product. And I'm happy to report that proof of concept actually proved successful. We almost got to a point that we didn't have enough cores to do it in Australia during the night, and we've considered doing it in the US, but we've actually managed to get that done with AWS helping us. But that was an extremely rewarding exercise because people who within the team were very adverse to that change, they now excited and on board and now thinking, how can they get more involved? And that's also driving the way that the team is structured within the organization to change. And if you heard it in the keynote before, they're trying to shift the structure of the team to be more focused around solving problems to clients rather than IT development, management, etc. Again, what's next? I just want to leave a few things with you before I hand over back to Jason. When you go away from that session, take away the following. When you go back and think about your transformation journey, think about your drivers. Why are you here? Why are you in this summit considering cloud? To do what? Think about the pain points and think about what are the successful outcomes. If you come here, what would you take that you can take back into your organization and turn it into something successful? Identify, if you want to take it into a practical, find something small that's yours, that everyone within your organization will be able to associate with, but that you are actually able to fail fast. So if it doesn't work out, it's not really a drama or a disaster. Get others involved. Buy them into the journey, both from the top and the bottom. Get people excited about the stuff that you're trialing. And finally, this is a journey. And it will take a while to get to the point where you are anywhere from self-sufficient or really across that entire environment and you change. Leverage others' experience. So we heard Geoscience leverage ATO and Australia Post, and I absolutely recommend that. Reach out to your peers and find out what they did and they were successful, but also find partners because all those organizations, including Australia Post, we work with them, and the ATO, we work with them. Everyone leverage partners to help them on the journey, and we would love to be part of it. So thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for your time. I hope you find that useful, and Jason, over to you.